Good morning, peoples. Let's jump in here on Tesla and Tsly. So what happened on Friday? Well, Tesla moved up a small amount, about 1.16 points from 198.84 to 200, 0.58, and Tsly moved up 0.85 from 1301 to 1312. All right, so we actually had a pretty substantial amount of shares. I think it's 3.76. We lost 1,950,000. That's more than some funds have in them. But you can see it's still a small percentage. But it dropped us under 50 million. So here it is, 1,950,000, right? If this was 49,900, then it'd be from 51 to 49. So it's 1,950,000 reduction in the share count. So that's less people to pay. You got to look at it from one positive perspective. So let me share with you the trades that were put on. So they sold a call position at the 260, right? So this is closing out a call position, and then instead of normally if you were adding, they're adding to their 210 and they're closing out their 260. Yeah, they don't yet have. Yeah, they do have a. They don't have a 210, but this 260 and 265 that they have a small amount in 265, a big amount in 260. They're closing all that out because on 816, so all they did was take off 1,172, but they have still after that 33,000. And obviously, since they're trading at 200, it cost about $60 to take that off the table. Although there's very little time premium left, right? So, and then they sold a 207.5. Sorry, they bought to close that position. So that's taking some off the table. All right, let me make sure I did that one correctly. Yeah, that happened here. So I added it mistakenly. I see what I did. So this was 2.34 and they closed it. I had written it as if they sold a new one, which is incorrect. I just did it kind of quickly. All right. So when you need money like that, you need to take some things off the table, but I'm not really sure that it was an 816 and it had already been written. So on 8.8, that's interesting that they chose to just take, what I'm going to have to do is break that trade up in order to have um, so I'll show you what I have to do on here. I have to insert a new line, copy this guy, and break the original all at one price. Okay. Because I'll do it like this. And I closed it for 234. I'll put it down here like this. That's weird. I wouldn't expect them to take that off. I'm wondering if on my sheet I got it somehow was done incorrectly. But I see that they were closing out the synthetic. That totally makes sense. I put that trade in, and that cost them about, it cost us about 6.9 million, 6,937 for a loss. So that one was relatively easy. And then this trade was just put on yesterday. I don't see how they raised money when they had to spend money, but I get the idea that shares were sold, so you have to take some things off. Very interesting. Okay, so $2.34. They paid, but they made a little money on that, right? Because they sold it for 334 the day before. So very, very interesting. That changes some of my payouts. It doesn't change my holdings any. And this guy goes down to 33,023. Okay, so I got everything else lined up. Sorry about that, guys. I just didn't look at that. Here's what I'm looking at. This is the trade. And I just didn't look really close. I figured this was an SF sell short. And I knew that this was an inverse. Normally you do a buy and a sell short, right? You buy the call, sell short. So when you want to reverse that, you do it differently. You do it as a sell and a BC. And this can go either way, right? Usually they're still selling here. But in this case, they were closing it out, buy to close, and just a small portion. So they always have to keep the synthetic and the amount of weekly naked calls in the same total. So here we are, and you see that, right? Here's the 34,338, and they do it here by having two different strikes. They have a 260 and a 265. And here they just have a 210 and a 207, right? So these are totally weekly calls, what we call the naked calls, that they've sold to try and capture the money. So we're at 23, 24%, right? So that was a negative, but look at it. It's not that far out of the money when we go look at the weekly. 3.75 and 5, because here we are at 200 with a week to go. All right, so let's continue on that path. So we will open up. Let's just make sure. So we closed at 1312. Net asset value, fair value is 1308, so we're expensive by 4 pennies. You can see the share count here reduced. Um, let's take a look. Oh, how about our synthetic? So we're going in the right direction. I've just been taking the big one, right? The 260 and not bothering to add the other one. So that I'm comparing apples to apples here. So we've gone from 232 to 208 to 200 to 197. So we're by moving up, our synthetic is coming down, but that's still a big synthetic. Now, relative to our quantity of shares, it's a little under $4, right? We rounded our shares to 50 million. 50 million times $4 would be 200. So we're around 385, something like that, maybe a 390. So that's a big, but all we have to do is move up, but we can really only move up to 2075 without really getting hurt on this guy. So let's see in our payout what we've got left. So the loss is now down to, technically it's 205 if you add them both together. So let's use that number, the 260 and the 265. So that's clearly over $4. And here we are setting, right? We didn't have quite as much money here. Let me make sure I did that one. 38, 40, and 41, because there shouldn't be anything in there. Oh yeah, we still have those. But this number is reduced, right? This is the one where we bought some back. We still have, oh yeah, hang on. Let's see what we do with this one. Yeah, we still made some money because we bought it back at 234. So that's what I had to clear up down here. Now let's take a look at the payment. Sorry about that, guys. Uh, Share count just came down. Okay, let's look at payouts. A little better, 9 and 23. I thought we had a little more money. So this guy is there really for the first time. We're still showing short call income. And so our net is 4.4. But look at, we're facing $4. I just assume we get it over with in the next few days, get the stock moving up, and these guys need to start riding out like a 220 or something. Give this thing some ability to run, because when they get out of that 260, they'll probably write like a 235 or a 240, and they'll have something for us to move up to. But don't turn around and write 212.5 for your your weeklies, because if we need to move up to offset that, we all want to make money here. The only way you make money is you knock this thing down. So I really like to see them do that here. But they have no choice. This 260 and 265 expires on 8/16. So I almost can guarantee you Monday or Tuesday. At the very worst, it'll be Wednesday. They won't wait till Friday on that. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you here on Tesla. Again, I think the stock can run some as long as the market doesn't sell off. I'm bullish longer, mid and longer term. Who knows what the market's going to do? That, as I said, September is kind of a telling time for us. We'll see what the market wants to do come September. Okay, guys, that's what I got for you. Again, Bruce with Targeted Wealth Creation. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. It's for fun and entertainment only. Have a great weekend ahead, peoples. Bye for now.